where every one of us is connected. Everyone. Everywhere. Where everyone is included. Where everyone has access to information, education, opportunity.
There's so much out there. I'm going.
There's a world where buildings are smarter, where automation fuels productivity. And our planet's health is as important as our own. There's a world where everyone is invited to participate, to contribute, to be bold. When everyone and everything is connected,
that's really beautiful.
Anything is possible.
Good morning.
Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Hey, it's good to see you.
I know, right? Finally. Loving those shoes. I'm late for my meeting. Morning.
Hey, how are you?
Let me show you. Q3 numbers are suggesting.
Trey's our best player.
Who stole my lunch?
Good morning. This is
The company we've trusted to keep us working remotely is the same company we'll trust to bring us back together. Back safely, with features like density monitoring to keep everyone properly distanced. Back securely, with more resilient, more robust protection to block threats faster.
WebEx. Start the meeting.
And back responsibly, with touchless technology that connects everyone. So now, between a year of being apart and the joy of coming back together, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Okay, everyone, let's get started.
The electricity is always there. We don't worry about it. We don't think about it. Never do we think about an attack on the power grid. It is like this all over the world. It is like this in Finland. Turku Energia supplies electricity for hundreds of thousands of people. Because its operations network was independent from IT, an attack could have found its way into the grid and no one would have known, until it was too late. By extending the IT network out to operations, Cisco was able to help secure the entire system, both now and in the future. And with Cisco IoT technology, the new virtually fail-proof system is as reliable as it is secure, one unified network. It's why tonight, in Turku, life will go on like it always has and always will.
Between on and always on, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
My name is Uwais Iqbal. This is my 13th year working at Cisco. I have the honor of leading the systems engineering team based out of Canada, but I was born in Karachi. Then I moved to Canada in 2000. Then I started engaging myself within my own community, which is the Canadians of Pakistani origin community. This is where I met with Daniel Mark. That was very moving for me. He's the French Canadian who moved to Pakistan about 30 years ago to serve the deaf community. These kids, even their cousins, people around them, they won't talk to them because they think that they don't understand, they cannot connect with anything. So then I started using my influence in my community to get this story out. We were able to raise 200,000 Canadian dollars to support these children. Now when the kids are going to deaf-reach school, they're learning the sign language, they have more understanding of the world, they know how to use technology. So far we have placed 8,000 people to different workplaces. If you start doing something small within your own community, the easiest thing is look around you who is in need. Once you take the first step, believe me, you will see that one door will open another door, and then there's so much that you can do that you will never stop yourself, that you're not just living life for yourself, you gotta always think beyond yourself.
Between a life in silence and one full of opportunity, there's Oves Iqbal.
I have a lot of ambitious dreams, like making the best tea in Japan and sharing it with the rest of the world.
This is Namiki Ishiyama. She grows tea with her family in Ibaraki Prefecture, Japan, on their farm established in 1871. Namiki sells her family's tea online at the marketplace created by Rakuten, a global leader in internet services. Namiki's ambitious dreams may come true sooner than she thinks, because the world is about to change. Rakuten has partnered with Cisco to do something that has never been done before, to build a new mobile network, cloud-based, fully virtualized, and optimized for the coming 5G revolution. This is Tarek Amin, CTO at Rakuten Mobile.
My belief is this platform is going to change everything.
This is 5G. More data, more power, new tools we can't yet imagine, artificial intelligence in the palm of our hand.
Making connectivity affordable. I think Rakuten and Cisco is going to do that, and that's going to change the ecosystem of telecommunication in this country and across the world.
What will 5G mean to Namiki's tea business? Rakuten and its partner Cisco are excited to find out.
My husband and I are 6th generation tea farmers. My son will be the 7th generation. That is my dream.
Between tradition and transformation, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Running makes me feel happy. My favorite part about cross country is like the mental part. I'm Max. When I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with aplastic anemia. And if I didn't find a donor, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
I'm Dylan and I'm 22. 3 years ago, I joined the registry at Be The Match. It was simple, just swab your mouth and send it in.
Be The Match is a global database of donors. To save more lives, they needed to make more matches. So they consulted with technology integrator E+. The solution? Cloud-based management made possible by Cisco UCS. Now, Be The Match team members use Cisco WebEx and Contact Center to collaborate with patients, donors, and their critical courier network. And their data is secure, protected by Cisco Umbrella Security.
Knowing what Max had to go through, what I had to do was easy.
One person in the world was a match to me. It's pretty special.
The Cisco network allows Be The Match to make matches faster than ever. And that's just the start of what's possible.
I am excited to meet Max. I don't think he knows it yet, but he's always going to have a #1 fan.
Me and Dylan are DNA twins. Dylan's like my brother.
Between a life-threatening disease and a life-altering donation, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
My name is Imran Razak. Been with Cisco for about 5 years, and I lead a team in the data center CX organization. So myself, along with one of my peer colleagues who's a technical leader, were a part of a hackathon event. The objective of this hackathon was to help grow the literacy rate in India. Back in the villages, the scope of a living or scope of earning is pretty low. Without English, for them to tap the next biggest opportunity, it's going to be really difficult. We came up with this app, which we basically started with WebEx Teams, which is a collaboration tool within Cisco. So for example, if you type something in Hindi, it's going to translate and give it to you in English. The objective of this app is basically to be a friend and a mentor for someone who really doesn't have a circle of friends who speak this language. With the network that we have in Cisco, with the people, with my team, we are trying to take it to other remote places so that we can cascade it and scale it up, right? So as a good human being, it becomes a kind of a responsibility to help people who are less privileged and then try to up their living, up their game as much as possible. I think it's more a human thing than anything else.
Between rural educators and unlocking a language, there's Imran Razak. April 16th, 2018. This is Tokyo. This is Rakuten. These are Cisco executives invited to a meeting with Rakuten. This is Tariq Amin, CTO of Rakuten Mobile. This is Prakash Suthar, team leader from Cisco Customer Experience.
Namaskar. Good morning.
This is a story about doing something that's never been done before.
Prakash, I need someone to help me build the world's first end-to-end cloud-native network. We need a partner.
Let's do it.
In order for this to work, it has to be optimized for 5G.
We'll design it from scratch.
Fully automated.
Fully virtualized.
Cloud.
Core.
Transport.
Virtual RAN.
Everything. It will be the first of its kind.
Oh, yeah.
You can figure it out?
We can figure it out.
This is their idea. It's an ambitious idea. An unprecedented idea.
It's true.
But this is what industry executives called it.
Impossible. Impossible.
But that didn't stop them. That just made them hungry.
So, Prakash, how about developers?
We'll create a platform.
Different systems.
Different partners working together. What else?
This is the plane that took the Rakuten team to San Jose.
Okay, so it takes 3 weeks to implement a traditional radio site.
With automation, we can do it in 10 minutes. And more secure.
Zero touch.
Zero defect.
Ready for 5G.
Just upgrade the software.
This is Tariq's impressed face. This went on for months.
We're gonna need new hardware.
Then we'll partner with your vendor.
But our design?
You got it.
Then Tariq said.
And we want you to manage the whole chain, oversee the integration of vendors and partners.
We're on it.
February 3rd, 2019. This is Rakuten and Cisco and their impossible idea making their first call.
Oh my God.
And the world just changed. Rakuten and Cisco Customer Experience. The right solutions, the right technology, most importantly, the right people. Between ideas and invention, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Growing up, I always wanted to be helpful. I was inspired by my mother and how she helped my community. My mom would cook a lot of Syrian food. One day, she asked my brother and me to deliver meals to our neighbors in need. She taught me that when you help others, anything is possible. Even leaving my country to pursue a degree. When I landed, I was shocked to see the level of poverty. I thought, how could such a wealthy country waste so much food when so many people are worried about their next meal? I heard my mother in my ear, and I knew what I needed to do. I started taking surplus food that would otherwise be thrown away and giving it to those who would benefit from it. I could see the tremendous impact right away. I recruited some smart students, and with Cisco's help, we were able to build an automated platform to connect food donors to communities with food insecurity. Not only are we putting good food to use, but also can track the positive impact on the environment. With sharing Cisco's purpose to power an inclusive future, we've been able to provide over 2 million meals across the US. My mother is my real hero. She taught me that a delivery so small could one day deliver on something so much bigger.
Between a small gesture and a huge impact, there's a bridge.
My name is Uwais Iqbal. This is my 13th year working at Cisco. I have the honor of leading the systems engineering team based out of Canada, but I was born in Karachi. Then I moved to Canada in 2000. Then I started engaging myself within my own community, which is the Canadians of Pakistani origin community. This is where I met with Daniel Mark. That was very moving for me. He's the French Canadian who moved to Pakistan about 30 years ago to serve the deaf community. These kids, even their cousins, people around them, they won't talk to them because they think that they don't understand, they cannot connect with anything. So then I started using my influence in my community to get this story out. We were able to raise 200,000 Canadian dollars to support these children. Now when the kids are going to deaf reach school, they're learning the sign language, they have more understanding of the world, they know how to use technology. So far we have placed 8,000 people to different workplaces. If you start doing something small within your own community, the easiest thing is look around you who is in need. Once you take the first step, believe me, you will see that one door will open another door, and then there's so much that you can do that you will never stop yourself, that you're not just living life for yourself, you gotta always think beyond yourself.
Between a life in silence and one full of opportunity, there's Oves Iqbal.
Greatness accepts no lag, no delay, no excuses. It lives in the tiny space between milliseconds and nanoseconds, between memes and legends, between tears and tears. And when margins that small make an impact this big, nothing less than the speed and dependability of the Cisco network will do.
My name is Casey Szymanski, and I am a content editor for our talent brand team. In 2004, my younger sister Kelly passed away unexpectedly. Obviously, it was a very difficult time for me and my family, but we came together, we realized we wanted to give back. I think what makes me want to take action is a big part of my upbringing. I think a lot of that comes from being a first responder family, and when others are running out to safety, my family was always running in. In 2011, St. Baldrick's found me. The St. Baldrick's Foundation started with a bunch of first responders, and it kind of became a challenge between them, and it was if you raise X amount, you'll shave your head and you'll go bald. And now they're the second largest private funder of children's cancer research in the United States. It pulls at your heartstrings and it gives us purpose. I would love Cisco employees to join me. I would love to have more bald heads on campus and on our WebEx calls. My sister, I think she's proud. I think she's up in the stars and smiling down and just proud as heck that we've all kind of come together, and this is her legacy.
Between a family's loss and the fight for a cure, there's Casey Szymanski.
If we're to build a bridge to an inclusive future, then getting healthcare to everyone, everywhere is critical. Take rural Europe, where local doctors leaving for big cities is creating a medical desert. For patients left behind, many lack the mobility or the flexibility to reach critical urban appointments. The remedy, it turns out, is as much a technological marvel as it is a medical one. Meet Medibus, a state-of-the-art clinic on 4 wheels. But designing such a wonder came with its own set of challenges, taking everything Cisco knows about mobility, connectivity, video conferencing, and security into account, and, together with partner Deutsche Bahn, dispatching it from the cloud to create a 21st century lifeline. Now, no area is too remote, no diagnosis or specialist unavailable. All because one company dared to wonder if the road to better healthcare could literally be the road that runs through town. That's the inclusive future. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the marriage between Rebecca and Cameron. In the presence of this company, it gives me great pleasure to declare you are now legally husband and wife. Cameron, You may now kiss the bride.
Between being there and being together, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
There's a world where every one of us is connected. Everyone. Everywhere. Where everyone is included. Where everyone has access to information, education, opportunity.
There's so much out there. I'm going.
There's a world where buildings are smarter, where automation fuels productivity. And our planet's health is as important as our own. There's a world where everyone is invited to participate, to contribute, to be bold. When everyone and everything is connected,
That's really beautiful.
anything is possible.
Good morning.
Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Hey, it's good to see you.
I know, right? Finally. Loving those shoes, girl. Late for my meeting. Morning.
Let me show you. Q3 numbers are suggesting.
Tracer, best player.
You stole my lunch.
Good morning. This is
The company we've trusted to keep us working remotely is the same company we'll trust to bring us back together. Back safely, with features like density monitoring to keep everyone properly distanced. Back securely, with more resilient, more robust protection to block threats faster.
WebEx, start the meeting.
And back responsibly, with touchless technology that connects everyone. So now, between a year of being apart and the joy of coming back together, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Okay, everyone, let's get started.
Stand by, stand by.
Hi, I'm Chuck Robbins, Chairman and CEO of Cisco. Welcome, and thank you for joining our Future Cloud virtual event. Over the past 15 months, every organization has had to reimagine and adapt in countless ways and drive digital transformation at a scale and speed that we never could have imagined, all in a massive effort to support and care for both their customers and their employees. What could become digital had to become digital. And we saw cloud adoption accelerate as organizations looked for ways to increase business agility and support new and rapidly evolving business needs. At Cisco, we're focused on helping customers connect, secure, and automate to accelerate their digital agility in a cloud-first world. We continue to innovate, delivering the capabilities you need to optimize your applications with agile networking and end-to-end security. And today, our teams will share new innovations we are bringing to market to help simplify cloud operations and support the observability essential for ensuring the best application experience possible. With that, I'll turn it over to Liz to kick us off. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Chuck. Welcome everyone to Cisco's Future Cloud virtual event. You know, cloud continues to power businesses connecting users, devices, applications, and data. And we know our customers, you, have multiple motions to the cloud because most of your new applications are being built cloud native. And many of your traditional applications we know are staying the same. You want to modernize your private clouds, have a common operating model across these environments. And most of the time when we've talked to you, I could say that 9.7 out of 10 of you are saying you're hybrid with a mix of these motions. And whether it is hybrid or multi-cloud, it's more distributed and getting more complex by the day. And so for infrastructure and operations teams, this means a new paradigm. You want to be able to enable your developers to build and release code to production safely while addressing distributed data requirements and infrastructure issues, and do it really fast. You want to be able to offer choice across on-premises, edge, SaaS, public cloud environments. You want to be able to provide your developers stack choice, including containers and serverless. And you want to make the infrastructure dynamic by offering everything possible as a service, but with policy and optimization control. It's something we think about every day. How do I attract and retain talent? And I want to be able to break down the silos between the teams so that everyone works together to deliver the best application experience. We've said this before, and we continue to believe that the de facto way of operating, it's hybrid, it's multi-cloud, and it's app-centric. App-centric because apps are your business. It's how your products and services are consumed. Multi-cloud because your apps are used from anywhere, on any type of device, and they consume services from any cloud, any environment for that matter. And hybrid because you're using a mix of cloud-native and cloud-only apps combined with edge and on-premises apps and services. We want to give you choice and all the power of cloud, but to do it, cloud smart and future ready. And how we do that, in terms of where we focus, what investment that we're making, it's in these 5 areas I'm going to talk about. So let's start with continuity, delivering the future of work. The future of work is hybrid. We talked about that quite a bit. People are going to work from home, they're going to work from the office, and from anywhere for that matter. WebEx is one platform for calling, meeting, and messaging, and it's really simple to use. Our teams over the last 6 months have delivered 400 plus new features. And I love the amazing noise cancellation feature, but also with the intent of making it an inclusive experience for all. I love how we've added gesture recognition, language translation, and transcription. And there's so much more that makes WebEx a great and inclusive experience for everyone across hardware endpoints and software, no matter where people are. How do we deliver the app experience end users love? You want your apps to just work, do exactly what the end users want. You want it to be dynamic, so you can add new services and drop other services that no longer add value to the business or the user experience. But delivering the best experience is not just about the application. It's also about the distributed data. It's the infrastructure, the network, the internet. So you need visibility and insights across this entire stack and across a rich environment, your rich environment, a hybrid and multi-cloud. And with the integration of Thousand Eyes network and internet intelligence into App Dynamics, you can now see the entire journey of your application and the real-time impact to your end users as traffic crosses from their devices all the way to the cloud or SaaS service it is using and everything in between. And with full stack observability from us, from application to the infrastructure, our aim is break down those silos between your teams. So we provide common correlated data set and common business language to focus on what matters most to your business and deliver the best application experience. Security remains top of mind, but it's also extremely complex. And so our approach to security is across multiple fronts. How do we protect critical control points? The attack surface continues to grow for every organization. So to stay safe in a multi-cloud environment, you need enforcement at all those critical control points. So we provide runtime workload protection, real-time vulnerability assessment, and application microsegmentation for both traditional and cloud-native applications. Cisco currently protects around 87 million endpoints. Our cloud security services via Umbrella secures more than 115 million users. And we process over 900 million authentication events every single month with Duo. So together with our threat response services, these are examples of Cisco's massive amount of global security data that we can leverage to better protect you. How do we do in terms of reimagining access control? This is where continuous trusted access comes into the picture. for people working from home or remotely by leveraging zero trust context with secure remote access capabilities and simplicity, such as passwordless authentication. Love that. And for offices and workplace, we bring together group policy management with SD access control and cloud-based security with Umbrella SIG through a very comprehensive SASE offering. Securely connecting to and consuming cloud. We want to make connecting and consuming cloud operationally simple and scalable. You're connecting multiple networks with a common policy model, and you want to extend that to the public cloud with consistent config, policy, and operations across all clouds. We want to allow you to seamlessly consume any public cloud native services. So let's talk about the cloud operating model. With InterSight, developers and operations teams now have a common environment to build, deploy, and manage modern and traditional applications. InterSight has a lot of capabilities: native compute and storage management, plus virtualization, plus Kubernetes services across private and public clouds. And you can actually right-size your infrastructure, make it dynamic to meet the changing needs of the application. And with InterSight Cloud Orchestrator and infrastructure as code with InterSight services for Hashi Terraform, you can now provision and manage any infrastructure at scale, including multi-cloud compliance and management using a library of approved infrastructure modules. We want to give you all the power of cloud. We have the experience to secure it all, to connect it all, to give you visibility and insights on any platform in any environment. At Cisco, our focus is on helping you, our customers, connect, secure, and automate to accelerate your digital agility in a cloud-first world. I know that Todd is ready to take us through today's announcements and demos. But before that, let's watch a video.
Your cloud. It isn't just a cloud. It's everything flowing through it. It's alive, connecting users, applications, data, and devices. And whether it's cloud native, hybrid, or multi-cloud, it's more distributed than ever. One company takes you inside, giving you the visibility and the insight you need to take action. One company has the vision to understand it all, the experience to securely connect it all, on any platform, in any environment. So you can work wherever work takes you. In a cloud-first world, between your cloud and being cloud smart, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
That's awesome. There are really two key aspects to enable a great DevOps motion: automation and observability. These are the two pillars of a successful cloud-neutral, cloud-native, cloud-smart operating model. So let's talk for a minute about cloud-neutral automation. A few weeks ago, we announced a partnership between Cisco and HashiCorp to bring Terraform, the preeminent infra as code tool, onto Cisco's InterSight platform. This is an incredible step forward as it provides InterSight users with a cutting-edge way to deploy workloads on the most powerful infrastructure in the world. With infra as code, developers work with physical infrastructure as software and deploy it with unprecedented speed. Here you can see how quick and how powerful this is. Thanks to the integrations between InterSight and HashiCorp, DevOps teams can use their software development tools and Terraform code to deploy microservice-based applications using Kubernetes across a hybrid cloud. All of that with exceptional speed and unprecedented scale. But really, even more than this is needed to truly empower a DevOps motion. Today, we're launching new innovations that enable IT operations to take full advantage of true cloud automation with infra as code and full-stack observability. Just a few months ago, Cisco acquired Bonsai Cloud, and we are now launching Cisco Service Mesh Manager. We're making this available as an extension of the InterSight Kubernetes service. This is an incredibly powerful tool, and as cloud-native apps become more and more prevalent, DevOps teams will use a service mesh to control how services share data with one another. Cisco Service Mesh Manager provides observability, configuration, and traffic management into a deployment just like this. To ensure that apps will be secure and deliver the right experience, IT ops teams need to understand how the application components connect to one another. Cisco Service Mesh Manager gives them exactly this. Look at how easily I can visualize the topology of my app, here based on 2 Kubernetes clusters and all the services underneath it. I can look at my application with different workloads, have different views that are extremely useful, such as this security view that helps teams ensure that every link between application components is encrypted, and that every one of these links is required, and there are none that we don't need. I can click on any of these services and really visualize what's happening. I can see the statistics and understand what's happening in the communication and manage them directly. In fact, I can even set a service level objective so a particular service starts to fail. I can get an early warning. I can get a health check of every single service running in my application. I can visualize what's really happening, but at the same time, I can take control. I can run sophisticated procedures in order to smooth out my DevOps team and my DevOps motion. Going back to my topology view here, I have an Istio load balancer, equally splitting the application traffic across 3 different versions of a database. The power of Service Mesh Manager is it gives us the opportunity to run a canary deployment, to divert just a small fraction of application traffic to a new version of the software and test it right in production with real user traffic without affecting most of my users. Just this small portion carved out specifically for this can allow me to really test and vet new technology. The power of this tool allows for advanced testing and advanced rollouts of new software in exactly this way. It's an incredibly powerful tool, and I'm super excited for everyone to get to work with this. So please take a look at Service Mesh Manager. Look, there's so much more for us to talk about today, and I'm really excited to get to the meat of this. And so I want to shift to this next step around platforms. As we all move to cloud native and infra as code, we know that the platforms we use matter. And to be able to scale these workloads up to the demands that our organizations have today, to truly be cloud smart, we have to focus on those platforms. And that's why I'm so excited today to invite up to the stage Kaustubh Das. Kaustubh, how do you do?
I'm well. Thank you, Todd.
It's so crazy to actually see you face to face in person.
It's weird and it's awesome at the same time.
It also feels weird to call you Kaustubh. At Cisco, everyone calls you KD.
Everyone at home calls me KD. My mom calls me KD.
All right, I hope everyone here calls you KD too. It's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you. I could not be more excited about what we're going to talk about right now. Our vision in computing is clear: to deliver cloud-smart technology that simplifies operation in this hyper-distributed, hybrid world that we heard Todd and Liz describe. And today, we're taking a great step forward to deliver on that vision. I'm delighted to announce Cisco's all-new UCS X series. This is computing built for the age of hybrid cloud, the most powerful cloud-smart x86 platform on the planet. So, what do I mean by cloud smart? Cloud smart means making you future ready. Our engineering team rethought everything: power distribution, physical layout, cooling, airflow, making X series a smart choice for a sustainable future and a smart choice for higher performance. With over 600 cores today and headroom for everything you want to throw at it over the coming decade, you want to invest in an architecture that's going to carry you through all of the innovation we see coming. And to make that possible, we've completely eliminated the backplane in the X series. The all-new X Fabric technology that operates at nanosecond latency enables 35 million IOPS of traffic on the PCI fabrics of today. But for you, it also means easy, future-proof upgrades to PCI fabrics of tomorrow, emerging fabrics like CXL, optical interconnects, whatever you want to throw at it. Cloud smart means giving you versatility. With the X series, you can align resources to changing application needs, specialized nodes for storage, accelerators like FPGAs, GPUs, all of those create a pool of resources, all connected by X Fabric technology. It completely blurs the lines between rack and blade. Look, I could go on and on about the incredible engineering that's created the most future-ready, versatile system ever delivered. But it's not about the box. Because if you want to be truly cloud smart, you need to unbox the future. You need to unbox your operating model. You need to adopt a platform built for hybrid cloud operations. By making the X series part of the Innersight platform, we've created the world's first system designed for operations from the cloud, across clouds, and designed, above all else, for simplicity. The X series is where you land your private cloud. But that's not the only cloud you operate. The X series and all the clouds and platforms you need are provisioned and managed through one simple SaaS experience, Intersight. Intersight brings together infra and cloud targets like compute environments, APM tools, public cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, infra as code tooling like Terraform, VM environments, Kubernetes, networking infrastructure, and storage arrays. And one of those targets is the X series and its associated fabric interconnects. A service within Intersight, the Intersight Cloud Orchestrator, takes the friction out of converting that resource pool within the box into a platform you can land workloads on. Intersight Cloud Orchestrator, or ICO, is a low-code visual workflow designer that's super easy to use with enterprise-grade controls for resiliency. ICO is the magic that transforms your cloud targets and your on-prem targets into a hybrid cloud platform to land your workloads. Everything from getting the server and network policies, provisioning storage, landing an operating system, layering on a container platform can be driven by a workflow, all from one place, giving you the power, the infinite scale, the visibility from edge to core to cloud, and the simplicity you need to operate your hybrid cloud. Now, everything in our platform is an API. Everything is programmatic. So this is not the only way to drive your cloud. Like we saw earlier when Todd deployed the Kubernetes cluster, you can alternatively use Intersight service for Terraform to provision the X series. Harmonize your tooling across on-prem and cloud. Harmonize methods, whether they're programmatic, infra as code, or low code. Intersight, as powerful as it is for infra automation and cloud orchestration, it's also really powerful as a full stack observability tool that allows you to monitor and visualize your estate from apps to infra. So you can answer questions like, where are my applications? What are they running on? How healthy are they? Do I have choke points? Can I bump up performance? Can I lower costs? I hope you're as excited as I am about where we are going with Intersight, the speed of innovation in the portfolio, the all-new X series. Our mission is to enable you to run your hybrid cloud in the simplest, most enterprise-grade, most powerful way possible. So we've shown you Intersight services that give you a common platform, modern, simple ways to drive automation. That may be infra as code, that may be low-code automation, that may be other methods. We've taken the same approach to other components of our portfolio. And today, I'm delighted to be announcing the all-new Identity Services Engine version 3.1, available from AWS and Azure marketplaces this summer, and in the future from the Google Marketplace. So let's take a quick look at it in action. Consider a use case where a security team needs to spin up remote deployment that includes trusted access for a field hospital. With ICE in the cloud, the infra team can deploy directly from the AWS marketplace using Ansible or Terraform, and it's just that easy. Just that easy. We now have a remote deployment of ICE in AWS. The network team can securely onboard network services with zero-touch provisioning, also using Ansible, Terraform. And network devices are onboarded with policy in place, so that it makes it fast, easy, and secure. The security team now can find their policies automatically assigned with the new remote deployment. So here are policies in action. Nurses can get access to patient records, but not those IoT medical devices that are so hard to secure and those cannot get access. What we've got is an exceptional level of automation, truly increasing IT agility to deploy the zero trust workplace. So we've talked about innovative new platforms to land your hybrid cloud, powerful and simple platforms to automate and manage your hybrid cloud environment. And now I'm going to hand it back to Todd to talk about observability.
Katie, that was awesome. That was awesome.
I am excited about what you're going to tell.
Well, I love product launch day, and I can tell that you're excited, so thank you.
We've got some terrific innovation.
Great. With all the teams that are responsible for really delivering application experience to our users, coordinating between those teams can be incredibly difficult. And we have to make it simple. We have to empower those teams with best-in-class tools to give them truly best-in-class observability and automation that can truly serve their needs and at the end of the day deliver best-in-class application experience. Having built clouds here at Cisco, we know that what really matters is deep insights, really seeing what's going on and having the power of automation to take the necessary steps once we see something is wrong and ensure that that user experience isn't interrupted. That's why we're focused on full stack observability, not just within the workflow itself, but the full reachability of that application to the end user. That's why we're investing so much in App Dynamics and Thousand Eyes to give a very complete observability picture all the way from the user to the application. We're not stopping there. We start looking at how Thousand Eyes correlates the app experience to network performance. Here we have a branch office in Thailand connecting to a regional hub in Singapore using Cisco SD-WAN. We're seeing poor application performance time, and we just discovered we have a latency issue between the two sites. But we can't exactly pinpoint where it is. This is exactly why we've now natively embedded Thousand Eyes into Cisco SD-WAN, so that we can see every hop in the SD-WAN underlay. Now I'm able to zoom into the problem, and I can immediately see that there are a ton of hops from Thailand to Singapore, and I can see almost all of the latency is coming from 2 routers in my service provider network. That's an instant insight, an insight that can drive immediate action. It turns out that I'm barely using 2 service providers, and they're behaving very differently. During these latency anomalies, my primary provider is routing traffic to Hong Kong, and even though the hub is in Singapore, that's a huge way out of the way. It's causing this latency spike of more than 60 milliseconds. When traffic is flowing to my secondary ISP, the latency is less than half of that, and I can see that this provider has a much better path to the hub. I can, of course, take this data, share it with my first service provider, and optimize the route. This is the power of full stack observability. It's diagnosing a user experience problem to an exact link in an ISP and giving people the tools to resolve that issue immediately. One of the keys to achieving this kind of full stack observability is to be able to share intelligence, this kind of intelligence, across multiple platforms so that our different teams can troubleshoot problems together. This enables IT groups to quickly identify the root cause of problems and remediate those problems, and at the end of the day, solve for the best possible user experience. This is exactly why we're integrating our technology across Cisco platforms to enable different teams, application teams, security teams, and DevOps teams to work together. It's why we've embedded Thousand Eyes into our App Dynamics product line, so that app operations teams, while using App Dynamics, can correlate problems with their application performance directly to network outages and network performance problems. They can take this data and they can bring it to the network teams to help resolve the problem and point them to exactly the root cause issue and even the tool that could help them resolve it. This is exactly the kind of cooperation and integration we need between our platforms, and more importantly, the kind of communication we need between our teams. We've talked about an enormous number of things today, and I'm really excited about all the product launches, but what this is really about, it's about building out the infrastructure that provides the best possible user experience, the most responsive applications that meet our SLAs, and most importantly, they deliver the business results, the mission-critical results that all of our organizations need. We believe that powerful hybrid cloud technology is the key, that a cloud built through cloud-neutral tooling that can allow flexibility and scalability is core to our success. And that's why we're so focused on the cloud space and so focused on this mission that together we can deliver truly cloud smart operations. And so now, before we go to our panel of industry experts, let's hear from a few customers who are living out their cloud smart journey with Cisco.
We were shutting down a lot of our healthcare facilities. We weren't allowing patients to come in.
And not being able to have them join us in the showroom really creates a challenge, right? It creates sort of a distance, right? And how do we bridge that distance?
We've seen massive increases in user traffic to those systems, at least 5,000% increases in many cases.
The SD-WAN solution from Cisco really enabled us to create that frictionless experience and to be able to continue to meet that ever-changing demand.
We faced a lot of challenges in converting a lot of on-prem healthcare visits to technology-based telehealth. We partnered with Cisco in order to make a lot of that happen.
Through the usage of our Thousand Eyes deployment, we've been able to see and validate that the traffic that we're trying to get to those SaaS applications is taking an optimal route. And then we're able to peer into those underlays that we may not necessarily control.
Cisco was an awesome partner for us during the pandemic and the surge of usage that we saw as a result.
The workflow collaboration with Cisco and with the partners, along with our IT team, made it all happen. Thank God we had that partnership.
Welcome, folks. We have an awesome session lined up for you today. The last couple of years have seen some major acceleration in digital transformation strategies, and that particularly has accelerated the journey to cloud, and a lot faster than most of us expected. In this world where agility, flexibility, and anywhere applications are essential for almost any organization, cloud has become this essential technology. So what we've done here is we've assembled a group of industry experts to help us understand the transition towards cloud and how can we help you in your journey to the cloud, no matter what that journey looks like and no matter where you are in that journey. So I wanted to start off with Ray Plosky here. Ray is the field CTO for HashiCorp, and welcome, Ray.
Hey, Prasant. Super excited to be here to talk to you today.
All right, Ray. So we all know this, right? Like infrastructure as code, or IAC, has been that go-to DevOps tool for quite a few years now in the public cloud environment for provisioning infrastructure. But now we are seeing this renewed interest in the private cloud environment. So why is that happening right now, and what is causing this acceleration?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Infrastructure as code is quite a trend right now within the DevOps community. Whether you happen to be in the public clouds, or you have no intention to go to a public cloud, or you're in a hybrid somewhere between the two. We see many enterprises picking up infrastructure as code, or declaratively defining what that whole entire stack looks like, regardless if they're in the public cloud or not. A reason being is that they would like to be able to see the same types of gains as you would see from any of the cloud native enterprises in the Bay Area. So thousands of deploys in a month or in a week or on demand versus having these larger, longer time to value cycles of 6 months in the past, which you would typically see from a typical ClickOps type of environment.
So Ray, Cisco and HashiCorp have been working together for quite some time. And we've recently announced the Cisco Intersight service for HashiCorp Terraform as a way to bring that DevOps infrastructure as code paradigm into the private cloud data center. So talk a bit about what are that benefits that our customers will see because of our strategic partnership.
Well, I'm super excited about the new offering. What we're able to do is provide your customers with the ability to have infrastructure as code in a clean and consistent format. And the values are this velocity will increase completely if you actually apply the appropriate workflows. The ability to reduce risk by having the best of breed solutions and stacks, whether that happens to be your best practices for telemetry or security or storage or networking or deep databases as a purpose-driven stack, let's say, for instance. And let your applications be able to consume those relatively quickly and make sure that they can go through systems of self-service where your teams can move very, very quickly, but also feel safe that there are guardrails in place so that you don't expose everything out to the public internet, let's say, or that there is high availability in place, or that you won't overspend on your public cloud providers. These are things that can and are available as part of the Terraform Cloud Insight partnership at this point in time.
So Ray, as we are talking about this, what are some of the best practices, some of the milestones that our customers need to look at when they start looking at infrastructure as code and getting that consistent cloud operating model, no matter where they are in that journey?
HashiCorp sits in a unique perspective within the industry. We get to see the adoption journey for thousands of enterprises around the globe. And really what's interesting is that the adoption patterns are surprisingly consistent, regardless of size or industry in this particular case. One of those happens to be around infrastructure as code, where people define what infrastructure looks like in a declarative format that can be run constantly or torn down and repaved on a continuous basis, whether that happens to be vSphere and Kubernetes on-premise, or whether that happens to be any of your public cloud providers.
Hey, those were some great insights, Ray. Really thank you for your time, and thank you for you and your company's partnership with Cisco.
Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Prathans, for the time.
I'm now really excited to welcome Mary Johnston Turner, Research Vice President at IDC for the Future of Digital Infrastructure. Welcome, Mary.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here.
We just talked about this very challenging and interesting year, right? So what are some of the primary business drivers you've seen with your clients, Mary, in terms of returning to growth? And how has that shifted the focus more on the world of cloud?
I think what we're seeing is more than ever before, these organizations recognize that it's all about the data and the ability to, make use and detect and analyze and respond faster than ever to that data, and to be able to deal with all the curveballs that may be thrown by them, around the world, whether it's illnesses or, power grids freezing up or chip supply chains falling through or whatever. It's just there's so much uncertainty. And when we talk about resilience, it's really about how do they deal with that. And they're telling us increasingly that they recognize that their digital infrastructure, and I say that to include cloud, dedicated and public cloud and edge and traditional IT, but that digital infrastructure really is crucial to the future of the business.
So Mary, as you're discussing these things with the heads of infrastructure, IT organization, what are some of the common challenges, the themes that you hear from your customers as they do this, their cloud journey?
The research shows that they're committed to very heterogeneous, mixed infrastructure environments, traditional IT, private cloud, one or more public clouds, and you might call it hybrid or distributed or multi-cloud, but regardless of what you call it, this diversity of infrastructure is causing many organizations to kind of struggle through and try to improve and rationalize what right now is a lot of disconnected workflows and tools and siloed approaches that fundamentally make it really difficult to integrate workloads, to integrate data, to get insight from data that's in different places in different formats, and to maintain consistent application performance.
So I think when you're talking about all these to a lot of your customers, right, like thousands of customers, I'm sure there are some common success factors or best practices for customers who've gone over this hump and been successful in this cloud journey and transformation.
I think that so many of these organizations are really investing in resiliency and agility at multiple levels in terms of taking advantage of all the different options that are out there in terms of clouds and infrastructure technology, taking advantage of analytics and observability and automation, and continuing to invest in their people and optimizing workflows. But I think there's a unifying theme. It's becoming much more application and workload aware. I think traditionally we had a number of different silos, and each operational domain had its own set of tools and workflows. But what we're finding now, particularly as more and more applications become microservices and more distributed, is that it's really important to take that end-to-end workload perspective.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you, Mary, and thank you again for sharing those insights.
And thanks again for inviting me.
All right, so now I'm very excited to welcome Chris Anisek here, who is the Chief Technology Officer or CTO for Cloud Native Computing Foundation, or CNCF. Hey, Chris, welcome.
It's great to be here. Hope all is well.
So, Chris, we all know that cloud was built on open source, right? So what are some of the major evolving and emerging trends you see in this world of open source when it comes to cloud?
There's been an interesting trend within CNCF around essentially what we're calling FinOps. So essentially, it's the understanding of how cloud financial management works across your organization. So if you're familiar with the DevOps movement, DevOps basically started as a way to bridge together, developers and operations, right? FinOps is very similar, where it's trying to bring together like the financial analysts and the engineers and operations folks that are responsible for using and deploying cloud-based services. Because right now, if you talk to a lot of organizations, at least from my perspective, a lot of this stuff is sadly tracked via spreadsheets, or people just don't have a good understanding of their cloud bills.
So that's very interesting, this FinOps. So how do you see customers leveraging this development?
Yeah, so for FinOps, it's easy. It's, just like with DevOps, a lot of companies had to change their culture, right? And kind of learn about the movement and deploy modern tools. I would do the same thing for FinOps. There's a great organization out there called FinOps Foundation, or FinOps.org. They're a sister foundation to CNCF. They're producing great education materials and best practices to share within your organization, help basically modify your culture to ensure you have a good idea of what cloud spend is and are taking advantage of modern tooling to roll out chargeback programs and so on. So to me, that was a simple one. The other thing that I would like to challenge for customers out there is I honestly think open source is kind of the modern customer advisory board. A lot of innovation is happening in the open. A lot of projects that you're depending on have open source components that you may have built products on, and my challenge to them is go work in the open, go innovate the open.
That's so true, Chris. So you have all these communities and these enterprises, large and small, right? So how are you, as far as being the CTO at CNCF, and CNCF is a pretty big organization, how are you helping these enterprises consume open source?
The first role for CNCF is truly to be a neutral holding ground for intellectual property, to guarantee that the 100 or so projects we host are safe for businesses to depend on and folks like Cisco to build products on. Within CNCF, we have a mantra that we essentially host projects, which we rely on our nearly 700 members to build products, which generate profits and essentially help sustain the community. So our whole goal within CNCF is to enable that projects, products, profit lifecycle to help sustain the innovative ecosystem we have in cloud native. Other things we do from a foundation perspective is we host a conformance effort to ensure that technologies like Kubernetes are safe and portable to use, so you're not locked into any specific vendor. So that's a huge effort we do, and we host over 100 solutions that have gone through that conformance program to ensure that safety and portability.
Those were some really awesome insights, Chris. So thanks again for sharing those and helping our customers here. And I truly appreciate you participating in this event. Thank you.
Awesome. It's been an honor. Great to be here. Thank you.
All right. Next up, I'm really excited to welcome Vishal Talwar, Senior Managing Director at the Accenture company. So welcome, Vishal.
Thank you, Prashant. Really excited to be here.
So Vishal, we just discussed, like, cloud is truly exciting, right? So, but for our customers here, it can be a confusing and challenging journey, right? So what do you see as some of the main business drivers in the world of cloud?
In technology, we are sort of notorious for coming up with buzzwords all the time. But the outcomes that we've always been focused and dedicated to delivering are essentially putting business first on the agenda, enabling and equipping businesses with the right technology, the right capabilities so that they can gain market share and they can operate efficiently. Cloud is now at the center of that transformation and that journey. It is serving as a catalyst for organizations to completely rethink how they drive their digital transformation that every organization had been on a journey for some time. There is an opportunity now that exists for organizations to significantly accelerate using cloud as a catalyst.
So Vishal, I know that Accenture recently announced a $3 billion investment to help organizations transition to cloud. And you partnered with Cisco as one of those key vendors to drive this initiative. So what are some of the benefits our joint customers and clients will have because of this?
Getting network right and having the right infrastructure architecture is going to be central and critical for any client to be successful in the cloud. And what we in Cisco have put together is basically created a dedicated team, joint team on both sides that are looking at not just what the network needs of today are, but what we believe the network needs will be 2 years down the road, 3 years down the line. The demands on network are changing. If you are a multi-cloud or a hybrid cloud or your cloud and you have some on-prem, how do you create a seamless experience for your customers and your employees? Your network can't stay where it was before, and you've certainly migrated all your workloads and applications to the cloud.
That's really true, Vishal. So as our customers are looking towards getting started, right? So what are some of the low-hanging use cases, best practices that they need to start immediately thinking about? And what are some of the things in the horizon that they need to start planning for?
So, when you think about the employee workplace experience today, like that's an immediate use case. Most clients and employees have to figure out for this distributed workforce. And this distributed workforce is again going to evolve as all of us get vaccinated and start to return back to work. And the experience that we've been, sort of now getting used to at home, that same experience is what we will start to expect from when we come back to workplace. So most organizations need to rethink and adapt to what that new workplace of the future is going to look like. And networking and cloud is going to play big role in that. So that's the here and now. The second aspect in terms of, a lot of organizations are already thinking about how does cloud help them run their businesses faster with more agility, more flexibility, and more speed. So think of that as, the supply chain transformations that they have to take place. Think of that as, campaigns that they need to run to become more connected to their consumers and their clients, because the virtual environment hasn't allowed for that in-person experience.
Those are some awesome insights, Vishal, and thank you for sharing those, and thank you again for your partnership.
Thank you, Prashant. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's move on here. So I'm very excited to welcome Jeff Reed, Vice President of GKE and Anthos at Google Cloud. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Prashant. It's so great to be here.
All right, Jeff, let's start off with some of the big trends as you as a cloud provider are seeing in this space, and particularly how Google Cloud and your team is helping customers make that transition.
Yeah, sure. So a few trends, and I think these are ones that probably most people will be familiar with. So one is, like, hybrid's really important. We recently did a study. 78% of respondents said that hybrid is either a must-have or a very strong factor in terms of their decisions around cloud. So as much, I'm all with you, and everything you said in the trends in the opening is correct. But I think customers are still working through, how do I take years of development and applications, et cetera, they have on-prem, bring it to the cloud, how to do that effectively, et cetera. So that's one that we see, continuing over and over in basically every customer I talk to.
That's great, Jeff. And Cisco and Google have had some long-standing strategic relationships, right? So from your perspective, what do you think are some of the benefits of our joint customers get because of our partnership?
Yeah, so one of the great things about what Cisco and Google can do together is going back to the conversation on hybrid. Cisco's been a leader in networking for decades, not a leader, the leader in networking for decades. And what I see Cisco doing and working with Google is really how do we enable that hybrid model? There's decades of data and applications, et cetera, in customers' environments. And, Cisco's really driving great options around connectivity. And so you see like an example is the work that Cisco SD-WAN team has done with the Google network team in the Network Intelligence Center at Google to try to make it really simple for you to get connectivity to the right resources securely, both on-prem, cloud to cloud, et cetera. Like Cisco's really enabled that. And so again, it allows those customers that are looking to make this transition, but may not be making it all in one fell swoop and really take advantage of all the assets they have on-prem. And similar thing in terms of what you see Cisco doing around areas like, HyperFlex and working with the Google Anthos team, running Anthos on HyperFlex. Really, it's all about, I think Cisco's done this great job about ensuring there's flexibility and choice from the customers and knowing that like the network has never been more important than it is now because all the applications, the data are increasingly going to be spread out across the environment.
That's really interesting, Jeff. And we've had these conversations with our customers, right? So when it comes to this deployment model, what do you think is that balance between when customers should go and choose a cloud-specific development versus a cloud-agnostic, cloud-neutral architecture?
I think there's this tension, right? And I think what both Google and Cisco are trying to do is how do we reduce that tension as much as possible? So you can go to a more agnostic model, but not end up with a least common denominator problem of I can't use all this great and interesting technology because I need to be agnostic across. And I think both companies, you look at the way that each is really kind of over its history has embraced standards, has embraced open source. I mean, so much of Cisco kind of set the standards around networking, and Google's. You can look at a lot of the cloud technologies. It started as open source a lot from Google. And so we both embrace this idea of, can you get this model whereby you can use things like that so that you can get a great outcome, but still have a degree of kind of agnosticness, if that's a word, to your decision making.
That's great, Jeff. Hey, thank you for sharing those insights, and thanks again for your partnership.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks so much for having me.
All right, let's switch gears here. So I'm really excited to welcome Naveen Shenoy, who's the EVP and GM for the Data Platforms Group at Intel. Naveen, welcome.
Great to be here, Prashant. Thanks for having me.
So Naveen, let's start off with some of the key trends from your perspective that you're seeing, particularly in the world of cloud infrastructure and the computing space.
This is an unprecedented time in terms of digitization. And that means it's also an unprecedented time in terms of the amount of data that is in the world. One of my favorite statistics is that 50% of the world's data has been created in just the last 2 years. And only a very small fraction of that data, 5% or less of that data, has been analyzed to harness insights. And this is happening in just about every industry that you can imagine. And it just suggests that we're headed into the golden age of data. Right? Every industry, company is trying to figure out how to harness that data. And I think what we're seeing here is an inflection point on a very broad scale. Of course, we have the shift to the hybrid cloud. We also have the rise of artificial intelligence, the acceleration of 5G, the build out of computing at the edge. All of these trends relate to each other.
those are some pretty big trends, and I think applications are the center of it. And applications now are the lifeblood of every organization, right? And application experience is the new business currency. So what are you folks doing at Intel to power this new generation, this future of applications and cloud-native applications?
I think applications of the future will be driven by the desire to make sense of data, ingesting data, analyzing data, and making real-time decisions from data. Applications are going to need to seamlessly operate to where the data is created or where it resides. So we're going to be all about at Intel designing and delivering the innovations and the technologies that our customers and our partners like Cisco need to move that data, to store that data, to process that data efficiently, securely, reliably, anywhere, whether it's in a centralized data center or whether it's out at the edge, so that ultimately you and our customers, our mutual customers, can solve their complex problems. These are the driving forces behind some of the technology we've introduced recently. Our latest third-generation Xeon scalable processor that the UCS family that Cisco is talking about and announcing today has been built with this in mind.
That's interesting, Naveen. And you touched upon this concept of the hybrid cloud paradigm, but also you mentioned edge, right? So what are the impacts for compute, particularly at the cloud edge?
Yeah, I really feel like we're at an inflection point where data is no longer exclusively stored and processed in traditional data centers. Of course, that will still happen, but increasingly we will see a build out of computing at the edge because the value of moving the data back and forth is not very high. The value is in creating insight from that data, and every organization needs to make decisions faster, needs to make decisions more autonomously, needs to make decisions with less latency. And that, of course, is going to result in opportunities for our industry to work together to build out new services at the edge. I think there's lots of scenarios that are very compelling for this. Imagine a factory that has high-speed digital video cameras on the factory floor trying to detect defects in the factory line and trying to make real-time decisions based on the AI algorithms that they have. That's going to require computing at the edge because you're going to need to make those decisions in milliseconds or nanoseconds, not minutes or hours that you might do today.
Awesome use cases, and again, awesome insights. So thanks again for taking the time today, and thank you, Naveen and Intel, for our continued strategic partnership.
Well, thank you. It's been great to be here, and the partnership with Cisco is as deep and strong as ever, and we're excited about what we can do together.
I know, and it's so funny because you mentioned that we have an awesome partnership, and we have a video from your boss, the CEO, Pat Gelsinger from Intel, saying that very thing. So let's take a look.
Hi, Team Cisco. Congratulations on your Future Cloud announcement today and the launch of your new UCS X-Series modular system. We are thankful for our long-standing strategic computing partnership with Cisco, which helps deliver innovation to customers across the globe. We also share a similar vision of a future cloud that will demand new operating models and infrastructures, and we are working together to build this. We both want to help the industry adapt for tremendous opportunity presented by the hybrid cloud. Adopting a hybrid cloud strategy gives businesses incredible flexibility and helps maximize technology investments. We are excited to bring our third-generation Intel Xeon scalable processors to power UCS X-Series. The combination of Cisco and Intel innovations will deliver greater performance, enhanced security, and improved efficiency for modern workloads. With Cisco Intersite Cloud Operations Platform, customers can unlock Intel's innovative performance and security features at scale and automate across distributed IT environments. It's fantastic to see ongoing innovation from Cisco. Thanks, as always, for your partnership and friendship.
Folks, thank you again for joining us for today's Future Cloud virtual event. I hope you've gained some great insights from our featured industry leaders, our Cisco executives, and our customers to help you chart your course to the future of the cloud. At Cisco, we are truly committed to being your trusted strategic partner for the cloud. And we are the only company that can deliver you the cloud-neutral automation and the full-stack observability necessary to harness that power of cloud landscape and help you make all of your clouds work better together and smarter. If you've registered for today's event, watch your email. We'll be sending you some information about our upcoming webinars that dive deeper into our products, showcase use cases, and demos. And if you haven't registered, please go to cisco.com/go/cloud to learn more. Thank you very much again, and stay safe.
What if your server box wasn't a box at all? What if it could do anything, run anything, be any box you need, with massive scale, precision, and intelligence? Managed and optimized from the cloud, integrated with all your clouds, private, public, or hybrid. So you can build whatever you need today and tomorrow. The potential of this box is unlimited, unstoppable, unseen ever before. Unbox the future with Cisco UCS X-Series, powered by Intersight. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Growing up, I always wanted to be helpful. I was inspired by my mother and how she helped my community. My mom would cook a lot of Syrian food. One day, she asked my brother and me to deliver meals to our neighbors in need. She taught me that when you help others, anything is possible. Even leaving my country to pursue a degree. When I landed, I was shocked to see the level of poverty. I thought, how could such a wealthy country waste so much food when so many people are worried about their next meal? I heard my mother in my ear, and I knew what I needed to do. I started taking surplus food that would otherwise be thrown away and giving it to those who would benefit from it. I could see the tremendous impact right away. I recruited some smart students, and with Cisco's help, we were able to build an automated platform to connect food donors to communities with food insecurity. Not only are we putting good food to use, but also can track the positive impact on the environment. With sharing Cisco's purpose to power an inclusive future, we've been able to provide over 2 million meals across the US. My mother is my real hero. She taught me that a delivery so small could one day deliver on something so much bigger.
Between a small gesture and a huge impact, there's a bridge.
My name is Uwais Iqbal. This is my 13th year working at Cisco. I have the honor of leading the systems engineering team based out of Canada, but I was born in Karachi. Then I moved to Canada in 2000. Then I started engaging myself within my own community, which is the Canadians of Pakistani origin community. This is where I met with Daniel Mark. That was very moving for me. He's the French Canadian who moved to Pakistan about 30 years ago to serve the deaf community. These kids, even their cousins, people around them, they won't talk to them because they think that they don't understand, they cannot connect with anything. So then I started using my influence in my community to get this story out. We were able to raise 200,000 Canadian dollars to support these children. Now when the kids are going to deaf reach school, they're learning the sign language, they have more understanding of the world, they know how to use technology. So far we have placed 8,000 people to different workplaces. If you start doing something small within your own community, the easiest thing is look around you who is in need. Once you take the first step, believe me, you will see that one door will open another door, And then there's so much that you can do that you will never stop yourself, that you're not just living life for yourself, you gotta always think beyond yourself.
Between a life in silence and one full of opportunity, there's Oves Iqbal.
Greatness accepts no lag, no delay, no excuses. It lives in the tiny space between milliseconds and nanoseconds, between memes and legends, between tears and tears. And when margins that small make an impact this big, nothing less than the speed and dependability of the Cisco network will do.
My name is Casey Szymanski, and I am a content editor for our talent brand team. In 2004, my younger sister Kelly passed away unexpectedly. Obviously, that was a very difficult time for me and my family, but we came together, we realized we wanted to give back. I think what makes me want to take action is a big part of my upbringing. I think a lot of that comes from being a first responder family, and when others are running out to safety, my family was always running in. In 2011, St. Baldrick's found me. The St. Baldrick's Foundation started with a bunch of first responders, and it kind of became a challenge between them, and it was if you raise X amount, you'll shave your head and you'll go bald. And now they're the second largest private funder of children's cancer research in the United States. It pulls at your heartstrings and it gives us purpose. I would love Cisco employees to join me. I would love to have more bald heads on campus and on our WebEx calls. My sister, I think she's proud. I think she's up in the stars and smiling down and just proud as heck that we've all kind of come together, and this is her legacy.
Between a family's loss and the fight for a cure, there's Casey Szymanski.
If we're to build a bridge to an inclusive future, then getting healthcare to everyone, everywhere is critical. Take rural Europe, where local doctors leaving for big cities is creating a medical desert. For patients left behind, many lack the mobility or the flexibility to reach critical urban appointments. The remedy, it turns out, is as much a technological marvel as it is a medical one. Meet Medibus, a state-of-the-art clinic on 4 wheels. But designing such a wonder came with its own set of challenges, taking everything Cisco knows about mobility, connectivity, video conferencing, and security into account, and, together with partner Deutsche Bahn, dispatching it from the cloud to create a 21st century lifeline. Now, no area is too remote, no diagnosis or specialist unavailable. All because one company dared to wonder if the road to better healthcare could literally be the road that runs through town. That's the inclusive future. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the marriage between Rebecca and Cameron. In the presence of this company, it gives me great pleasure to declare you are now legally husband and wife. Cameron, you may now kiss the bride.
Between being there and being together, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
There's a world where every one of us is connected. Everyone. Everywhere. Where everyone is included. Where everyone has access to information, education, opportunity.
There's so much out there. I'm going.
There's a world where buildings are smarter, where automation fuels productivity. And our planet's health is as important as our own. There's a world where everyone is invited to participate, to contribute, to be bold. When everyone and everything is connected,
that's really beautiful.
Anything is possible.
Good morning.
Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Hey, it's good to see you.
I know, right? Finally. Loving those shoes. Late for my meeting. Morning.
Hey, how are you?
Let me show you. Q3 numbers are suggested.
Tracer, best player.
Who's still my lunch?
The company we've trusted to keep us working remotely is the same company we'll trust to bring us back together. Back safely, with features like density monitoring to keep everyone properly distanced. Back securely, with more resilient, more robust protection to block threats faster.
WebEx, start the meeting.
And back responsibly, with touchless technology that connects everyone. So now, between a year of being apart and the joy of coming back together, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Okay, everyone, let's get started.
Growing up, I always wanted to be helpful. I was inspired by my mother and how she helped my community. My mom would cook a lot of Syrian food. One day, she asked my brother and me to deliver meals to our neighbors in need. She taught me that when you help others, anything is possible. Even leaving my country to pursue a degree. When I landed, I was shocked to see the level of poverty. I thought, how could such a wealthy country waste so much food when so many people are worried about their next meal? I heard my mother in my ear, and I knew what I needed to do. I started taking surplus food that would otherwise be thrown away and giving it to those who would benefit from it. I could see the tremendous impact right away. I recruited some smart students, and with Cisco's help, we were able to build an automated platform to connect food donors to communities with food insecurity. Not only are we putting good food to use, but also can track the positive impact on the environment. With sharing Cisco's purpose to power an inclusive future, we've been able to provide over 2 million meals across the US. My mother is my real hero. She taught me that a delivery so small could one day deliver on something so much bigger.
Between a small gesture and a huge impact, there's a bridge.
My name is Uwais Iqbal. This is my 13th year working at Cisco. I have the honor of leading the systems engineering team based out of Canada, but I was born in Karachi. Then I moved to Canada in 2000. Then I started engaging myself within my own community, which is the Canadians of Pakistani origin community. This is where I met with Daniel Mark. That was very moving for me. He's the French Canadian who moved to Pakistan about 30 years ago to serve the deaf community. These kids, even their cousins, people around them, they won't talk to them because they think that they don't understand, they cannot connect with anything. So then I started using my influence in my community to get this story out. We were able to raise 200,000 Canadian dollars to support these children. Now when the kids are going to Deaf Reach School, they're learning the sign language, they have more understanding of the world, they know how to use technology. So far we have placed 8,000 people to different workplaces. If you start doing something small within your own community, the easiest thing is look around you who is in need. Once you take the first step, believe me, you will see that one door will open another door, and then there's so much that you can do that you will never stop yourself, that you're not just living life for yourself, you gotta always think beyond yourself.
Between a life in silence and one full of opportunity, there's Uwais Iqbal.
Greatness accepts no lag, no delay, no excuses. It lives in the tiny space between milliseconds and nanoseconds, between memes and legends, between tears and tears. And when margins that small make an impact this big, nothing less than the speed and dependability of the Cisco network will do.
My name is Casey Szymanski, and I am a content editor for our talent brand team. In 2004, my younger sister Kelly passed away unexpectedly. Obviously, it was a very difficult time for me and my family, but we came together. We realized we wanted to give back. I think what makes me want to take action is a big part of my upbringing. I think a lot of that comes from being a first responder family, and when others are running out to safety, my family was always running in. In 2011, St. Baldrick's found me. The St. Baldrick's Foundation started with a bunch of first responders, and it kind of became a challenge between them, and it was if you raise X amount, you'll shave your head and you'll go bald. And now they're the second largest private funder of children's cancer research in the United States. It pulls at your heartstrings and it gives us purpose. I would love Cisco employees to join me. I would love to have more bald heads on campus and on our WebEx calls. My sister, I think she's proud. I think she's up in the stars and smiling down and just proud as heck that we've all kind of come together, and this is her legacy.
Between a family's loss and the fight for a cure, there's Casey Szymanski.
If we're to build a bridge to an inclusive future, then getting healthcare to everyone, everywhere is critical. Take rural Europe, where local doctors leaving for big cities is creating a medical desert. For patients left behind, many lack the mobility or the flexibility to reach critical urban appointments. The remedy, it turns